When I first found this out, my mind was blown. Like, hey, what's up guys? So today we're going to talk about apps, the best apps and websites to really help you guys accelerate your Chinese learning. If you're new to the channel, my name is Danyo and I quit my job just over a year ago in Canada and I bought a one-way ticket to Taiwan to learn Mandarin Chinese full-time self-studying. Okay, so let's get into it. The first app or website that I really recommend is a combination of YouTube and this Chrome extension called Zhongzhong. I've talked about this previously. So what is it? YouTube, we all know what YouTube is. You're watching this on YouTube right now. Great thing is there's lots of YouTubers that actually speak Chinese. And the best part is a lot of these Chinese YouTubers will actually put or embed inside their videos Chinese subtitles. Chinese subtitles are great, but instead of looking up each word one by one, imagine if there was a tool that can help you automatically show you the definitions of each character and the pinyin. Well, luckily there is. It's an extension for Chrome, or you can find it on Firefox. And essentially you can hover over these Chinese characters that you see on your video and get real-time automatic pop-up dictionary definitions of each character and even the opinion of each character. When I first found this out, my mind was blown. Like, imagine all that great content on YouTube just at the edge of your fingertips. And this app, this Chrome extension really makes all of that more accessible to all of us as Chinese learners. Okay, so the next app is probably the most important app for learning Chinese, and it's called Pleco. I'm sure you've all heard of Pleco. Pleco is the best dictionary for Chinese, and it's so much more than a dictionary. So this is the Pleco app. On the top here is the search function, and then on the bottom here you have the result. Let's look for 开心, which means happy, right? So first option meets our definition. We'll click on that. The pinyin just underneath there. On the bottom here, you have the definition. So as you can see, it says happy, joyous, delighted, elated. I'll just show you some other really cool functions of Pleco. If you click on the characters tab here, you can see the individual characters. So you can see Kai and Xin, and this really helps to break down the individual characters for you. So if you don't understand one of the characters, you can go and click on Kai, and you can see it means open. And then you can break this down even further by clicking on the characters again, and then you can see the individual radicals that make up this word Kai. This Kai radical and then this Men radical, which means door. If you want, you can click on that again, and then you can see it means door, this Men. And then what you can do even further, which is really cool, you can click on the characters again, and then look at the compounds. This function essentially shows you different words that have this men as a radical or as a compound. So you can see the word we had initially, kai, is shown here. Men, which is woman, so like a plural. Jian, which is interval. Guan, which is relation. So you can see all different types of words that use this compound men. So we'll go back to Kai for Kai Xing, and then what you can also do, which is really cool, is go to the words section, and this shows you all the different types of words that use Kai, this word Kai in it. So for example, Kai Fang, Kai Mu, Kai Tuo, and these are all words that I've saved before. So as you can see, when you look at this, whenever I look at this, it really helps to consolidate and to really help remember those words better. This is words beginning, and then you can close that and then look at words containing, which means that usually it shows you kai as the second word. So 展开, 公开. Finally, you can click on the sentence tab and then look at different sentences that contain the word 开心 or kai. So this is great. You can do this for every word. We did this for kai. You can also do this for xing. You can see there's different characters, words, sentences. Very, very powerful function. Mainly these days I'm using the Pleco app a lot for its OCR function, and I've spoke about this previously. OCR basically stands for optical character recognition. So essentially when you have your phone and someone sends you a text, or you're reading something in Chinese on your phone and you don't know what a character is, you can press this OCR button. It's similar to that Zhongzhong Chrome extension that I talked about. It gives you pop-up definitions of Chinese characters that you don't understand. It also gives you pinyin. So this makes Chinese reading on your phone much, much easier. There's tons of other great functions. For example, flashcards. They have a flashcard function, which is great for spaced repetition. So if you haven't already, definitely download Pleco. It's completely free, so it's a no-brainer. It's the best app for learning Chinese. Okay, Himalaya podcast. So this is an app that I've talked about countless times over and over in my previous videos. So Himalaya is a podcast app, but it's catered to Chinese speakers. So within this app, you're going to find tons and tons of native level Chinese podcasts. So you can find Chinese podcasts on business, leadership, self-development, sports, health, exercise, anything that you can think of. This is an app that I credit to probably the single most important app to accelerating my Chinese learning. And to this day, as an intermediate learner, I'm still using this app every day. I'm listening to podcasts, continuing with that constant high quality input. Let me know in the comment section below if you want me to make a video of some of my favorite podcasts. So the next great one is called Popup Chinese. This is a podcast that caters more towards beginner Chinese learners. Essentially, it's a native speaker, a native Chinese speaker, and a native English speaker, both of them co-hosting an episode, and they're speaking about 50% Chinese, 15% English, and so you can really get some of that explanation in there. So this is the Popup Chinese website. So all you do is type in popupchinese.com, and you click on this link, Browse Podcast Archives. And then over here, you can see all the different podcasts. You can see there's tons and tons of pages. Here it's separated by the level. So absolute beginners, elementary, intermediate, advanced. I spent a lot of time on absolute beginners when I first started. So let's click on the first lesson over here. Let me do it myself. On the right side, you can see this is where you play the podcast. They're all about 10 to 15 minutes. Great way for beginners to learn Chinese. So the next great app or website that I recommend is called iTalki. It's a great platform for finding Chinese language tutors or teachers. So this is the iTalki website, and as you can see, all you do is type in italki.com, and then you click on this Find a Teacher link over here, and as you can see, there's tons and tons of teachers here, and you can filter it by where they're from, what second languages they speak, even the price. I'll just quickly show you guys my previous lessons here, and let's check a couple of these. You can see $6, not too bad. $8 USD, not too bad. What is this one? $6 USD. So as you can see, they're all quite affordable, so great choice for finding a Chinese teacher. The great thing about iTalki is that there are so many cool teachers out there, and you can really try as many as you like until you find one that you really jive with. But if you don't want to pay anything at all, then the next best thing are apps for language exchanges. And the best apps for language exchanges are things like HelloTalk, languageexchange.com, and one that I don't hear a lot of people talk about is Facebook pages. So in Taiwan, when I first came to Taiwan, there are tons and tons of Facebook pages for language exchanges. And one of the biggest Facebook groups for language exchange in Taiwan has almost 100,000 members. That's crazy. So check it out, make a post. A lot of people want to learn English, so it's a great way to teach your own language and then also learn Chinese. Okay, so the next great app on your phone is called Webtoon. So if you're about intermediate level or advanced, you've built up some ability to read Chinese characters and you really want to practice and hone your ability even more, Webtoons is great for finding free comics from every genre: romance, adventure, spy, mystery, all of that stuff. It's all native material. Anything that you're interested in, you can find here. The next great free website for learning Chinese is the Chinese New York Times site. This is actually completely free for whatever reason. I don't know why. I know that the New York Times regular site is behind a paywall. So this is the Chinese New York Times website. Just type in cn.nytimes.com. Let's just click on one of the articles. Let's just click on the first article right here, and it brings us to this page. No, we do not want to translate. You can see everything is first in Chinese, but what we can do is click on this magic button right here called 中英双语, so it's Chinese, English language together, double language. The Chinese is on the right side, and then the English definitions or the translation is on the left side. So what I normally do is I'll try to read the Chinese section, And sometimes I'll use this Zhongzhong extension, this Chrome extension, which I've talked about previously. And as you can see, as I highlight this, it gives me the pop-up definitions. So usually I go through this once, and then I try to understand what it means, and then I'll look at the English definition, compare it, and see how good my comprehension is. This is a great tool that I use regularly to practice my Chinese reading with. The more apps that I use in my Chinese learning journey, the more I realize that the best apps for learning Chinese are not really the ones that try to directly teach you Chinese, but in my opinion, it's the ones that try to really connect you to that native material, try to make that native material easier to understand. It's almost like it creates an immersive environment, almost like a virtual immersion per se. So I highly recommend taking that deep dive, taking that deep plunge and immersing yourself into that native material as soon as possible. I think it's really the best way for maintaining interest and motivation to really help you accelerate your Chinese learning. If you like this video, you might also like my previous video I did on how I learned Chinese in about 4 months' time in Taiwan, or my most recent video about why I think podcasts are so powerful for learning Chinese. See you guys next week. 加油加油!